There are legends, and then there are ghosts. Legends live in the light, celebrated in video packages and cheered by the masses. Ghosts, however, haunt the shadows, their names whispered in cautionary tales. They are the unfinished business, the unanswered question, the brutal reality that the comfortable narrative tries to forget. For years, Becky Lynch became a legend by convincing the world she was the most dangerous woman in wrestling. But on a cold Tuesday night, she and the entire world were reminded that the most dangerous woman is not the one who shouts it the loudest, but the one who never had to say it at all. This is not the story of a comeback. This is the story of a haunting. The year is 2025. The era of the man has evolved. Becky Lynch is no longer just the fiery anti-authority rebel. She is the institution. With multiple championships, history-making main events, and a decade of wars etched into her soul, she has become something more. The Matriarch. She is the undisputed North Star of the WWE Women's Division, the veteran who built the house that every other woman now competes in. Her confidence is no longer the brash swagger of a challenger. It is the calm, unshakable certainty of a queen upon her throne. Tonight is a celebration. It's the main event segment of SmackDown, and Becky stands in the ring, a microphone in hand, a custom leather jacket shimmering under the arena lights. She isn't the champion at this moment, but she doesn't need to be. She is the division. For years I've come out here and I've run my mouth, she begins, her Irish accent resonating with a familiar warmth, but laced with an edge of pure authority. I've called myself the man, big-time Bex, and now they call me the Matriarch. But they're all just names for the same thing, consistency. It's about showing up night after night and proving that this ring, this division, this entire industry runs through my heart. The crowd roars in approval. She has them in the palm of her hand, as always. I look at our locker room today, she continues, gesturing towards the entrance ramp, and I see the future. I see warriors. I see women who are hungry, who are willing to scratch and claw for every single inch. They learned from the best, didn't they? A smirk plays on her lips. But let's also remember the ones who couldn't hang. The ones who came in with all the hype, all the buzz from other worlds. The mercenaries who thought they could just walk in here and take over. They came, they saw, and they left. Because to survive here, you need more than a reputation. You need more than a single move. You need a heart that refuses to stop beating, even when it's broken. You need the soul of a professional wrestler. The shot is subtle, but everyone knows who she's talking about. It's the ghost she has never been able to fully exorcise, Ronda Rousey, the woman she pinned, indirectly, to make history at WrestleMania 35. The woman who took her ball and went home, leaving the industry with a bitter taste in her mouth. Becky's words hang in the air, a final dismissal of a chapter everyone believed was closed for good. She raises the microphone for her final triumphant sign-off. So let this be a message to everyone in the back and everyone watching at home. This is my division. This is my house. And the Matriarch is not going anywhere. Her voice is cut short. Not by music, but by a sound. A jarring, discordant glitch. The arena lights flicker violently. The giant Titantron above the stage flashes, but instead of a WWE graphic, it's a chaotic scramble of static. For a split second, an image cuts through the noise. A close-up of a fist, wrapped in black MMA tape. Then, a distorted audio clip, barely audible but chillingly familiar to hardcore fans. Joe Rogan's voice from a UFC broadcast years ago screaming, "Armbar! It's tight! She's got it!" The lights go out. Total darkness. A collective, terrified gasp fills the arena. This is not part of the show. This feels different. This feels real. When the lights snap back on, seconds later, nothing has changed. Becky Lynch stands in the center of the ring, her confident smirk replaced by a look of wary confusion. She scans the entrance ramp, expecting an attack. She looks towards the commentary desk. Nothing. The crowd murmurs, a ripple of unease spreading through the thousands in attendance. Becky forces a nervous laugh, raising the mic again. "All right, very funny. You want to play games? Come on out then and face me." She never finishes the sentence. From the crowd, leaping over the barricade with a fluid, predatory grace, a figure emerges. She is not in wrestling gear. She is dressed for combat. Black cargo pants, black trainers, and a black hoodie with the hood pulled low, obscuring her face. In the place of wrestling tape, her hands are wrapped, her knuckles covered by the thin, brutal padding of 4-ounce MMA gloves. She moves with a purpose that is terrifyingly devoid of theatrics. There is no posturing, no playing to the crowd. This is not a performance, this is an ambush. Before security can even react, she slides under the bottom rope and into the ring. Becky turns, her eyes widening in dawning horror, as the figure straightens up and pulls back her hood. It's Ronda Rousey. But it's not the Ronda Rousey who left WWE. The smile is gone. The tentative connection with the crowd is gone. Her eyes are cold, dark, and utterly empty of anything but violent intent. She looks like she did at the weigh-ins for UFC 207, a caged animal ready to kill. Becky Lynch, the Matriarch, one of the toughest women to ever step into a ring, is frozen for a critical half-second. It's all Ronda needs. Ronda doesn't lock up. She doesn't throw a punch. She closes the distance in a blur of motion. Her left hand shoots out, not to strike, but to grab the collar of Becky's leather jacket. She plants her right foot, drops her hips, and executes a perfect, devastatingly fast Ippon Seoi Nage, a one-armed shoulder throw straight from her Olympic judo arsenal. Becky Lynch is airborne. She is not flipped. She is launched. She lands on the canvas with a sickening thud that the microphone picks up, a sound of air being violently expelled from lungs. It's not a wrestling bump. It's the sound of a body hitting the floor with real, unmitigated force. Becky gasps for air, her system completely shocked. Ronda is on her instantly, a predator on its prey. She doesn't stomp or punch. She flows, her movements efficient and terrifying. She transitions immediately to the ground, moving past Becky's guard like a hot knife through butter. She isolates the left arm. The crowd is screaming now, a mixture of shock and horror. This is happening too fast. It's too real. Ronda swings her leg over Becky's head, locking her in place. She has the arm. She leans back, her hips pushing forward, her body arching. She is applying the arm bar. But this isn't the hold she used in WWE, the one her opponents had time to struggle against. This is the weapon that shattered the arms of Miesha Tate and Liz Carmouche. This is the real thing. Becky's face contorts in pure agony. Her screams are not for the crowd. They are guttural, involuntary shrieks of pain. She claws desperately with her free hand, trying to break the grip, but it's like trying to bend steel. Ronda's face is a mask of cold concentration. She stares straight ahead, her eyes dead, as she pulls back further, applying more pressure to the elbow joint. Referees and security officials finally swarm the ring. The first official to reach Ronda is met with a sharp, brutal back kick to the chest that sends him tumbling out of the ring. A second official is effortlessly thrown aside. She is an immovable object of pure destruction. She looks down at Becky, whose arm is now hyperextended to a sickening angle. She gives one final violent yank. A horrifying pop echoes through the arena sound system. Becky Lynch goes limp. Her screaming stops, replaced by a choked, agonized silence. Her body is trembling from the shock. Ronda releases the hold. She doesn't stand up and pose. She doesn't glare at the crowd. She slowly gets to her feet, her movements deliberate. She stands over Becky's broken form for a long 5-second count. She looks down at the matriarch, the legend, the woman who built the division, now just a crumpled heap on the canvas. Ronda's expression does not change. There is no triumph, no satisfaction. There is nothing. She turns, slides back out of the ring, and disappears back into the crowd from where she came. No music plays, no video package airs. The only sound in the entire arena is the frantic, panicked shouts of medics rushing to the ring and the stunned, horrified silence of 20,000 people who have just witnessed not a wrestling angle, but what felt like a public execution. Becky Lynch, for the first time in her career, was left utterly, completely, and devastatingly speechless. The immediate aftermath is chaos. The broadcast team, usually so adept at weaving narrative, is silent for nearly a minute. When Jim Ross's modern equivalent finally speaks, his voice is a hushed, trembling whisper. We have just witnessed something I don't have the words for. Medics carefully fit Becky's arm into a brace. Her face, pale and streaked with tears of pure pain and humiliation, is a portrait of shock. The Queen has been violently deposed, her castle walls smashed into rubble in less than 60 seconds. As she is helped out of the ring, her eyes are not filled with defiance. Not yet. They are filled with the dawning, terrifying realization that she has just been attacked by a monster she thought was long dead and buried. Ronda Rousey does not appear for the rest of a night. There is no backstage interview, no official statement, only a ghost. The explanation comes the following week, and it's as cold and brutal as the attack itself. It's a self-shot video released online. Ronda is in a gym, sweat beading on her forehead. She speaks directly to the camera, her voice low and steady. "For years, I've listened to the narrative," she says, her tone dripping with contempt. "The story of the man who revolutionized the business. The story of a plucky underdog who talked her way into the main event of WrestleMania. A story, a fairy tale. While you were all buying the t-shirts and chanting the slogans, I was in a real world fighting real fights." She pauses, her eyes boring through the lens. Rebecca Quinn plays a character. She is a phenomenal performer who has mastered the art of pretending to be a fighter. She sells a persona of toughness. Last week, I gave her a dose of reality. I didn't come back for a championship. I don't care about a contract. I came back to finish a conversation that was interrupted. The conversation about who the baddest woman on the planet truly is. She built her legend on my name. Now, I've come back to take it all away. This isn't a comeback tour. This is an extermination. The battle lines are drawn. It's not about Raw versus SmackDown. It's not for a title. It is a war for legacy itself. It is the performer versus the fighter, the legend versus the ghost. When Becky Lynch finally returns, weeks later, her arm in a sling, the leather jacket is gone. The swagger is gone. The witty one-liners are gone. She walks to the ring with a slow, deliberate pace. The look in her eyes is no longer that of a confident queen. It's the cold, dead-eyed stare of a soldier who has seen the face of true war. She picks up the microphone, and the building is silent. "Ghosts," she says, her voice a low, dangerous rasp. She thinks she's a ghost. She's right. She haunts me. That night, that humiliation, that pain, it haunts me every single second I close my eyes. She looks down at her injured arm. She broke my arm, but she made a mistake. She woke up something inside of me that the man and the matriarch had put to sleep. She wanted to show me reality. Well, congratulations, Ronda. You have. You've shown me the reality that to beat a ghost, you have to become something worse. You have to become a monster. She drops the microphone. The message is clear. The characters are gone. The slogans are dead. This is no longer a wrestling feud. It's a blood feud. Ronda Rousey's shocking return had not just silenced Becky Lynch. It had shattered the legend she had so carefully built, forcing her to rediscover the raw, desperate fighter she once was. The haunting had begun, and a terrifying war was on the horizon.